Good day, everyone. Welcome back to the Doc of Detox show. I'm Dr. Darrell Wolfe, and today's show is Thrive or Survive Part 1. So let's begin the show. I appreciate being able to come on and be able to reach people around the world with my message. And the only thing that I truly hope and I pray today is that I touch your hearts, and that I touch your hearts in a way that you understand that you are the greatest thing that was ever created in the universe, and that you were born to create. And if you don't realize that one fact, and everything that's around you, the clothes you wear, the people that are around you, the life you live right now, you've created it. You know, it might be hard for everyone to understand this, but we created what's going on right now. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. But we all had a part in it. And do you know why? Because we decided that it was good enough to survive instead of thrive. On some level, that's all. Think about this. 8 weeks ago, compared to now, the world, you would have never thought that something like this could even happen in your lifetime. And now we're right in the middle of it. So now you have a choice. You have a choice to either thrive, maybe not even survive. At least some of you feel like you may not, because guess what? Your belief system doesn't support thriving in uncharted waters. You know, we can all put our own conclusions together why this is really happening, but we know it's not happening because of what they say is happening. This is just my own little story, but the reality is that, you know, they've been preparing for this for hundreds of years. And if you do your homework, and you can always tell when people don't do their homework because they don't sound very intelligent. But then I can't tell you that I know the true story either, but I will tell you something. And that is this, that since I've been on this planet, okay, my father was a pastor. He was a born-again Christian. My mother was a Catholic. There's a mixture for you. And I will tell you that the whole time that I was growing up, always in the back of my mind, I kept saying, well, if it's true that God loves us, if it's true that we're family, then why is there so much pain and suffering in the world? And then, you know what? Even when I was younger, I realized something, that there's a whole elite group, they might be even a species, that feed off our pain and suffering, and they've been doing it for hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years. And actually, the more pain and suffering that we have, the more they get off on it. You think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding. And if you can't see that, well, then that's your problem. You know, the reality is this, you know. You've got a government that promotes alcohol, that promotes prescription drugs, you know, that works for corporation, doesn't work for us. I mean, you just need to take a look around and see that the game is rigged. And now that we can smoke as much pot as we want in Canada, that'll even down even more. The reality is guess what? You said that you wanted to come to this life-challenging game, and that you were going to succeed, and you were going to find your brave heart. And you're not going to be playing into it. Listen, I've got family members that have terrible alcohol problems, and they are brilliant at what they do, but the alcohol is going to just take it away from them. I've got family members that are hooked on prescription drugs. I got family members that are hooked on drugs, street drugs. And we all have it. But we don't want to look at it. And the reality is that, yeah, planet Earth is a life-threatening, fun-filled adventure for the whole family if you learn the rules. And that first rule is learning how to totally love oneself. So I'm going to get right into it here. So this lecture here is called Thrive or Survive. And it's a very small part of this lecture. How to Thrive in a Brave New World. This lecture is going to be 12 hours long. And in this lecture that I'm putting together, it's a masterclass, I'm going to show you how this planet ticks. And I'm going to tell you that what you think is going on isn't going on. Okay? All right? The most powerful mind-altering substance is the truth. And guess what? Most people can't handle the truth. Do you understand that? Most people cannot handle the truth today, okay? And do you know why? Because the system is rigged, okay? It's an elite club. And you know that club, that elite club? They're banging us over the head with it right now. Right now. And the problem is that such a small percentage even are aware of this. And you know what? You know what they've done? They've totally divided our families. They've made us argue against each other. They made us come up against our friends. They made us come up against other religions. They made us come up against ourselves. And that's the problem. But I'm telling you, the game is rigged. I want to talk about a couple of things here before I get started. The first thing is guess what? My name is Betty Lou, and I'm a 3-time cancer survivor. Oh, really? Is that what you are? First of all, who in the heck wants to be a survivor? You want to be a thriver. I mean, everything about the way we talk is polluted. You know, it's like we start off strong and we end weak. You can't think, you have to know. You can't be a survivor, you must become a thriver. Okay? So think about that. I know people that actually run cancer organizations that have had cancer 2 and 3 times. And you know, people are so proud of them because they got rid of the cancer, not once, twice, but 3 times. Even our foundation is infected because we should be able to get rid of the cancer once, but you're not going to get rid of the cancer once and have it leave unless you get rid of the true cancer, which is corruption, contamination, and conflict in your mind created by belief systems. Everything is belief systems. If we were to all just get together right now and decide that we were going to look really hard at our belief systems and nothing else, and we were going to go in there and observe, not judge ourselves. This isn't mine. This isn't mine. This doesn't fit anymore. This got holes in it. This isn't me. But we don't do that. And that's why they got us. And they got us. And right now, we're in the middle of this. You know what? It's like you're swimming across the river of SHIT, and all you can do right now is keep your mouth shut, keep breathing, and hope you get to the other side, eh? Okay, so what are we programmed for? We're programmed not to question. You know what? I got to tell you something. If you watch my Facebook, you're going to see on there all the time, we pray for you, Dr. Wolfe. Be careful, Dr. Wolfe. We pray for you, Dr. Wolfe. What the heck is that? I don't need prayers. I need brave hearts. I need people speaking up. I need people holding the line. I don't need people praying for me. We don't need a handful of people sticking their neck out. We need the masses stop being scared. This is the reality that's going on here. Nothing else matters more than that, okay? Our world is going to change one way or the other. You know what? There's a right turn and a left turn. And I just hope the heck that we take the right turn, okay? Because listen to me. Truth is earned. It's rarely taught. Okay, you think you know what's going on? My God, I don't even know what's going on. Here's something for you to think about. I'm not going to get into it here, but when I go and do my Braveheart 12-hour Braveheart New World masterclass, I'm going to unravel all of this. And you know, some people are going to be pissed at me, and that's okay. Who said that your beliefs had to match mine? And if something upsets you, you might want to ask yourself from now on why it upsets you and how you're reacting and how you're responding, because the person that wins the day is usually the politician who knows that all he's got to do is just take a couple of breaths and not react and come out really calm, because he can act like not the insane one. So all we have to do, because people don't know how to rule or run their emotions, is just to get a little bit of anxiety into somebody, into the people, and have them freak out, and then they look like the insane ones, and guess what? That's how you win. That's how you win every negotiation. And if you don't learn how to stay calm and peaceful, then you'll lose everything. You'll lose yourself, because it isn't yourself. But let's take a look at this. How about this one, guys? Mother Teresa sold babies and was used in photo ops throughout 1980s when she was pushed on us as a saint. Oh, look at who's standing beside her. Oh, isn't that cute? That's Dr. Fauci. standing next to her. And this was in a publication of the Vanderbilt Medical Center. Nothing is as it seems, is it? They're just all one big elite group, dudes. That's what they are. They got this whole thing mastered and planned. I'm not even sure if they're human beings. They're human doings for one thing. I know they're human doings. God, they could be some kind of draconian alien for all I know. But the reality is you bought into all of these things. So Mother Teresa, she could sell babies and is a saint, and you're a little sinner. That's right, you're a little sinner. So what are you going to do? Put yourself in judgment jail all your life and then limit your creative abilities? Not rise to your greatness? So either you've been taught that you're a failure or a sinner. I mean, that's the main game in town, isn't it? And this is why I don't care what you think. I don't care what you think about me. I do not care what you think about me. I love you anyway. I am going to love everyone. I'm not going to like everybody's beliefs, especially these two dudes, right? They're kind of corrupted, okay? And I'm not going to care that the majority of the population isn't going to like my beliefs. How's that? Because at the end of the day, I'm the guy who's not freaked out over this coronavirus and any other virus, okay? I'm not the guy that's freaked out about anything because I'm going to stay in the present moment where your only point of power is, and I'm going to have my life. I'm going to take it. So what are you doing right now? What are you doing? Are you freaking out? Okay. Are you thinking about your next strategy? Because you know what? This is a game. Welcome to planet Earth. So I'll tell you my next move. Here's my next move. This is called Extapa Palace. Now, before this whole thing was going down, I said, Dear Lord, please give me the opportunity to be able to take my work on a world stage. And then somebody came along and said, hey, I own this called Extapa Palace. It's got 200 built-in condos, okay, into this place. How would you like to have it, Dr. Wolfe, and make it into a world-leading resort? And I'm going, not resort, but healing center. So now it's called Extapa World Training and Healing Center, right? So I'm telling you this because in the midst of all this survival stuff that you're at right now, and I know there's a lot of people listening to this today, and they're just trying to get their mind off of other things. Well, don't get your mind off of anything except creating the best life for yourself, and know that you were created by God Almighty, and you need to act like it right now. You're eternal, and you've got eternal possibilities. So anyways, you see that building? That's a 5-story building, okay, with 5 offices on each floor. And why am I telling you this? Because don't stop dreaming, okay? All right? Don't be the dreamer, not the dreamed. Be the dreamer. Never stop dreaming. Never. So that is going to be where we have all of our different treatments, our offices, and we are welcoming every practitioner that has a course to come to us, because we want to bring courses from around the world. It's not just about me. It's about us. It's about us as a teamwork. Okay? All right? And there's the aerial view of this. It is such a beautiful place, everybody. Okay? Now, if you take a look over on the top left, you're going to see those are the condos. You see the pool. Now, you see that where it says mountain? Guess what? They're building right now for me in that mountain. Okay? They're building 120 seats. Okay, so that we can do lectures in there, and then it's going to divide into 4. And you're going, well, what's this about thrive or survive? Well, because I needed to find a place that I could bring people that was going to be cost efficient, and they could come and have a beautiful holiday. And Extapa is only a population of 3,000 people live there, sometimes 10,000 when it's peak resort time. The beaches are beautiful, the temperature's wonderful, and guess what? I've arranged to be able to bring people in where we could bring a whole family in, and it's affordable for everyone. It's affordable. And we're going to teach people how to create the perfect day from the minute they wake up until they go to bed on an emotional, spirited, not spiritual, but on a spirited, emotional, spirited, and physical level. And that's what it's about. And we're going to bring other people in from the World Organization of Natural Medicine and anywhere else around the world that has something that they want to bring in to teach. We're going to be having courses from 7 days to over 6 months long. This is going to be 200, think about this, 200 rooms that we can work together and do this. And then guess what? Oh, it just happens that we have the largest gym in that whole area of Mexico. And we have a dance studio, yoga studio there as well. Okay, so yeah, this is where we're going, everyone. Okay, so here's the deal. I want you to think about this, okay? Think about this. Every family needs a hero. Now, who's that going to be? Now, whether you come to me or you go to someone else, wouldn't it be great if you could stop bickering with your children stop bickering with you, if you stop bickering with your wife, henpecking your wife henpecking you? Wouldn't it be great if your wife was in pain, that you had a body technique that you could go in and unravel the scar tissue? Because it's all a scar tissue issue. Every nerve problem is a scar tissue issue. Every joint is a scar tissue issue. Every disease is a scar tissue issue. And if you need to get that. Now, what if you were able to go in and work on your wife and you didn't have to book a treatment? What if every practitioner in the world today took their learning and they taught every client, every patient to become their own practitioner? Well, we wouldn't be in the mess we are right now. Because the more that you're hooked up to the system and the more you're reliant on another human being, you'll end up being a human doing. Well, that's quite obvious. So take a look at my personal treatment and trainings, everyone, because I'll tell you, you come to 7 days with us, and I'll give you a money-back guarantee that I'm going to make you into, even I don't care who you are, whether you already been practicing for 20 years in the medical field or in the natural health field, or you're a mother who just wants to take control, or a father who wants to take control, and we're going to make you into the most powerful practitioner there is, and that's my guarantee, and I guarantee it all the way to the bank. So it's very important that everybody understands something, that guess what? As long as you want to just get treated, you're going to get mistreated, okay? All right? Okay? And the day that you decide that you want to be trained to unleash that practitioner from within, that genius from within, I'm not telling you to come to me. I'm telling you to go out there and become that. Superman's not coming. If Superman was coming, he'd be here already, or she would be here already. You said you could come down here and lose your soul, lose your spirit, and then that you could rise up and find it, like the phoenix from the ashes. Well, we're right at part 2 right now, so it's time. So today must be transformation day. Okay, so understand, this is planet Earth, all right? So learn the rules, know the players, because once you know the players, you're going to win the game. And I know the players. I know that we cannot count on any system outside of our digestive system, outside of the solar system, so the nervous system, okay, the circulatory system. So all the systems in your body, and the solar system is the only system that you should be trusting. Do not trust another system. And if you do, that's your fault. That's your fault. I don't need any handouts, and I definitely don't need anybody to tell me the rules of the game. I don't need man's rules. I just need, okay, universal law and nature's law. That's all I need. That's all I live by. So what we think we are and what we truly are is 2 different things. Now, I know that that's difficult for you because you're looking at me right now and you're going, that's a physical body. No, it's not. This is my physical suit so that I could come down here and eat chocolate and poop and make love and experience every motion from A to Z. That's all I came down here for. But you know what? Everything about us is this: death, dying, disease, divorce. Do you listen to, I don't do it. My partner said, listen, why don't we go on and find out what's going on? And we went on there for 10 minutes, and I listened to Trump. And it's not about what you like him or you don't like him, but the reality is all he's talking about, all this death, all this disease, all this dying. That's what it's all about. It's all about down here, okay? And it's all about suffering, okay? Whoever suffers the most in the family loves the most. Isn't that the way it goes? Isn't that the way it goes? You know what? When I first started getting into this, learning how to love myself, protect myself, care for myself, my family said to me, you know what, Darrell? You're selfish. Who do you think you are? Then I was going into this whole peaceful thing, trying to find myself. I was called Jesus. I was called Buddha. I was put down. And then especially about this whole self-love thing. But you know what happened when I really got into this self-love, self-care? I really started to love and care for my family even deeper than I ever could. Let me tell you something. Somebody that totally loves themselves doesn't hate anybody. Somebody that totally loves themselves doesn't go around hurting anybody, because guess what? Hurt people hurt people. And understand something right now. You're only going to hurt people when you are making them responsible for making you tankful. That's right. Filling up your little empty tank. That would be your heart. Oh, my heart is broken. My heart hurts. My heart is empty. She broke my heart. He broke my heart. We can't even control our bowel movements, less anybody outside of ourselves, for God's sakes. So unless you're really going to learn how to master your emotions, then everybody's going to master you. That's why we're in this mess. You know, sometimes I get a little bit frustrated and I get a little bit angry, because the reality is this. It's like, oh my God, where's my team? Where's my family? Where's my earth family? What the hell? They bowed out. They bowed out. Darrell, we'll pray for you, Darrell. Darrell, watch out. They're coming for you. I don't know. I can't live any way but honorable, any way but integrity, any way with morality. Where did it all go, everyone? Okay, so here's the deal. Your first spirit. That's what you are. We already talked about that yesterday. I will be going into it a little bit more. Some things I'm going to repeat because repetition is the master of everything. The only reason why you have a certain illness is because you repeated a certain dysfunctional belief enough that you created the invisible into the physical, and now you've contaminated a certain organ or a certain tissue, and now you've got issues in your tissues because you had them in your head first, but they weren't yours. You got programmed. So first we got our spirit. We got our emotions, and then we've got the body and the mind. And then guess what? For most people, I'm sorry to say this, but it's a landmine today. A lot of people are just hanging on. Oh my God, people are just hanging on before this even happened. You may not believe this, but I was getting 6, maybe 8 calls a day. I want to kill myself. I'm cracking up. People would call on the phone and they'd be just crying, and they're still doing it. We forgot who we were. And we forgot that we are internal. And you know what? When my uncle died, okay, all right, just a while ago, he was one of the last of my family, and he was the closest to me. As soon as my uncle died, okay, all right, my daughter smoked. As soon as my uncle died, okay, first thing I did is I saw the cigarettes, and I went and I grabbed a cigarette, and I took a puff, and I just felt the whole thing drain down, because what did I used to do when I was younger? When I first started a clinic, I never thought that I had what it takes, and I was a fake. Because my whole life I felt like I was a fake. And I'd run outside, have 2 cigarettes, run back in, chew some gum, do a consultation, tell someone how to live. Now, is that wrong of me? No. I was programmed. I'm not going to beat myself up for that. So anyways, I had that one drag of the cigarette, and I just went voo, and I could feel it. And I would just drain myself, and I put the cigarette out. Hadn't smoked in years and years and years. And I just went, well, there's the lesson, isn't it? So then it took me about 2 hours to get myself back, because usually I give myself only 30 seconds. 3, 2, 1, I got this. 3, 2, 1, I got this. Okay, we'll be talking about this. But understand something. The reality is, if I was in your family and somebody passed on, or someone had cancer and the whole family just crumbled and everybody's just going into shock, and I went, everybody look at me like, what are you, nuts? And I'd be going, no, I'm trying to stay centered. I don't want to unleash the adrenaline, the cortisol, the histamine, and kick the living crap out of myself. I'm going to let the rest of you go and lose it so that I can be here and then think with a cool head and move forward to know that that person that maybe just passed on didn't die. Their spirit left to go on to a new thing. Why should I be so greedy as to have them here? That's why I want to love you. I want to love you with all my heart. Right now. I don't want dysfunctional beliefs to get in between me and you. Right now. You can have any religion you want, eat anything you want. I love you anyway. How often do you find yourself judging people? And let me tell you something. We are truly believed, and religion does this a lot. Religion teaches us the more we suffer, the more we care. How ridiculous is that? So anyways, it took me about 2 hours to bring myself back. But guess what? As soon as I took that one puff, I put it down, I smushed it out, and I just said to myself, Darrell, get it together. And I thought about all the things that my uncle meant to me. I thought about all the things that he had taught me. And then I gave him a farewell and said, I will see you again. We are eternal. And you can believe it or not believe it, but that's how I live. I needed to trip. Did I beat myself up for having a cigarette? No, I'm not a phony. I'm the best I can be until I can do better. And guess what? Never beat up on yourself. You've always done your best, even though you got charged with some crime by the government or your family won't speak to you. You always did your best. They're the broken ones. Total forgiveness, total love. And you got to start with yourself. And then you got to not take it personal. And you don't need approval anymore. You're amazing. I don't care who you are, wherever you are. Everybody's got different beliefs, so they got different personalities, so they got different realities. And God bless you. You've done well. Now we must do better. We can do better. We're human solar panels. We're dynamic energy systems. We're walking, talking batteries. We need the sun. We need the sun. We are vibrational systems. And everything we come near, everything we talk to, we listen to, we eat, we drink, we think must be high in vibration. But you're addicted. You're addicted to drama. You're addicted to trauma. You're addicted. Oh my God, I want to hear about how bad it is over there. Then I can think about how bad my life isn't as bad as theirs. Now I feel better. And so many people do this and they don't even know they're doing this. They're running a program because they don't understand something. The real you is light energy. Your physical being is what? 0 point, and then you can add 11 zeros and a 4. And I told you that we would all fit in a sugar cube if you got rid of all the empty space and every particle you're made out of, which is what? 7 octillion particles of what a human being's made out of. So understand something. Learn that energy medicine is the future. That's what Einstein said, but guess what? The greatest energy medicine device on this planet is you. Is you, first and foremost. You're the one that can turn yourself on. You're the one that can turn yourself off. It's as simple as that. So understand something, you practitioners out there, okay? True practitioners don't create more clients. You know how many practitioners I know that are really good, but they don't even know that they're running a program that I got to pay my mortgage. I got to put the kids through college. I never thought about that. I'm going to tell you a little story here right now, and you can believe it or not believe it. It doesn't really matter. But the reality is that I owned the Wolfe Clinic. The Wolfe Clinic was in the top 100,000 of all the websites in the world. I was making $5,000 to $25,000 sometimes a day. Oops. Anyways, that was not important to me all of a sudden, and I realized that I created this huge cancer clinic. All right, and guess what? One day I just said, "This isn't me. This isn't me," and I walked away. I walked away from it. Didn't work for 7 years. I've only been back in business for 6 years. Everything that you know about me, see about me, I recreated. But when I came back, I said that, you know what? I went and stripped everything. I went from having about $3.5 million to when I first got called by Ty Bollinger to be in The Truth About Cancer about 6 years ago. And that's when I came back into business. I had $2,200 in my bank account. So I had to lose everything to become everything. I had to lose everything to become everything because everything I was fraudulent. When you understand that you're infinite, the things that most people would actually get upset with, it doesn't bother you anymore. When you understand that you're a universal traveler and that you're just down here in an earth suit, and you're going to make all kinds of mistakes. And you said you could come down here and have a lot of challenges and have people come up against you and continually, but you could do this. We came down here to rise. And that's what we need to do. So understand, true practitioners out there don't create more clients. They create more practitioners. And that's what we need to do. We need to empower everything that we have, all the golden nuggets that are inside of me that I've collected in the last 40 years. I need to pass those over. Okay? So check out our Whole Life Coach certification. We do it online now. We're going to be doing it online, so you'll see that up on our website at itioh.com. And we're going to do it online around the world so you can become a whole life certified practitioner. You can check out what that is. But I will tell you that I have what's called Wolfe Non-Surgical, and it is the most powerful body work in the world. And when I say that, I mean it as humble as I can, but the reality is I'll give anybody a money-back guarantee that in one treatment I'll do more than all the other treatments combined. So, you can say, well, there goes his pitch. Well, that's not a pitch. The reality is if you understood what I knew and that we got sucker punched and that a lot of natural therapies are watered down and diluted and most of the medical ones are just contaminated and corrupted. And that's the bottom line. I can call it like it is. I don't expect you to like it. I don't expect you to like what I say. But the reality is the problem is guess what? Everybody's got to be politically correct and everybody's got to worry that they might upset someone. Well, the reality is I knew a guy named Jesus, and he pissed some people off. And that's my hero. All right, so we know that we're an inflammation nation. We know we got issues in the tissues, right? And guess why? Because it's breaking news. Everything is breaking news. Did you ever get that? How many people are in your family? How many friends go to you? Did you hear? Did you hear? Did you hear what happened? Did you hear the latest? I don't want to hear anything. What's really true will stand the test of time. Mind your own business, work on yourself personally, and become the guiding light for your family. Wouldn't that be great if we just did that? Wouldn't it be great? Mind your own business. Because when you mind your own business, that means that you're willing to buy into the self-care, self-love thing. Hey, what do you want? Do you want your children to love themselves just 10%? Is that what you'd like? Like you? Or 20%? Well, then the chances are that they're going to marry someone that's abusive, or they're going to get into alcohol, or they're going to get into drugs, or they're going to smoke, or they're going to have some kind of a eating problem. Okay? So what is it you'd like? Would you like your children to love themselves 100% and honor themselves, respect themselves? What is it you want? And guess what? Your children aren't going to be what you are. And then they've got to work like hell to unravel it. So who's going to stop the family curse? Let me tell you something. We are in the age of anxiety and conflict, and everybody's addicted to it. Okay? If a bomb were to go off on the other side of the lake right now where I live, I would stay here and finish the show. I wouldn't even tell you. I wouldn't tell you. You know what? Remember when I told you my uncle died? When my uncle died, I didn't even tell a couple of my children because I knew that they were going to go just right ape crap. So after about 2 or 3 weeks, they found out that my Uncle Don died, and they were upset with me. And guess what? I said, I'd rather you were upset with me. Now you can be upset with me instead of just totally wrecking yourself. Do you ever notice that? Everybody has a level of suffering. Get 10 people in a room. They all hear about the same story. Some people jump off a cliff. Some people will go to alcohol. Some will go to cigarettes. Some will go to drugs. And some will go, what can I do about it? I need to stay centered. I got this. But guess what? Go ahead and do that all the time. And guess what? You'll be judged by everybody else because you did not join the anxiety conflict group. That's right. So understand something. You remember that cartoon, Monsters, Inc.? Well, I'm going to tell you something. It's real. You know how in Monsters, Inc., the monsters would get up and go to work, and then they'd have to sneak into the children's rooms and scare them and torture them? Welcome to your world. Because that's what's going on. Remember when I told you that I believe that there's an elite group that feed off the pain and the suffering of children? Well, yeah. Do you know how many hundreds of thousands of children are kidnapped and never seen again? And especially those that don't have families, the orphans, or those that live on the street. If you really knew what was going on and how yucky it is, especially the higher you go. The higher you go and the richer people seem to get. And I'm not saying all rich people, so understand that. But understand, you don't get to go high up in government unless you're corrupt. I mean, most people just think it. They never say it. I mean, who cares? So what? I said it. There you go. What are you going to do? What are you going to do to me? Okay? So understand something. If you don't get this, that your thoughts rule you, school you, fool you, and that if you take a look at your day and go, hey, how do I like my day? Would I like it to be better? Well, if you like it to be better, then you better look at your thoughts. And you better look out what you're watching, what you're listening to, and how you're speaking. And those thoughts are going to guide you to different things, right? Those thoughts are either going to guide you to beautiful things, or they're going to guide you to what? Toxicity. Because guess what? When you're not good enough and when you've got toxic beliefs, you're going to go towards that vibration. And the trauma and the drama in families. You know, I've done right now approximately 26,000 emotional consultations, and I've tracked them over the years. And I will tell you that wow, you should see what families believe is called love. But every family believes that they have a good poop every day. Every family believes that they know how to love each other properly and love themselves. Well, I'm going to tell you something. That is the biggest crock of crap. It's not true. We have so much work to do. You know what? I guess it really had to come to this, didn't it? Because we weren't really going down a really good path, were we? I mean, everything has gone totally over the edge out there. But I really wish it didn't have to come to this. And didn't somebody ever say that? It didn't have to come to this, right? So understand the fix is in, everyone. Okay? Here's your government. This is what your government stands for. So I don't think your government's there to help you or protect you. And, you know, I don't spend any time in that stuff at all. I'm not going to either. So look at, the reality is you mind your own business, or else you're going to what? You're going to lose your mind. And most of you have already lost your mind. You're just hanging on a thread. Let me tell you, even some of the doctors that I know that are leaders in the health field, you should see some of the conversations I'm having with them now. You should see, I have friends that are calling me up that are in the natural health field that have tons of followers, and I'm consulting them, and it's like, wow. You know what? Fake it till you make it. Well, you better make it, and you better become what you say you are, and you better rise up, and you better root in. So understand something. All your beliefs matter. Everything, because you matter. You matter so much. You're the everything. But you're going to have to go in without judgment. And you're going to have to look at those beliefs. Because understand something. You're going to keep on pushing and feeding those beliefs. So guess what? The difference between someone who's happy and someone sad is someone who's done their homework. Oh my God, if we could have just gotten two parents that weren't adulterated, well, good luck with that. My God, I was adulterated. My gosh, my last child, my son, Sage, he was 5 years old. I put all my kids on the couch, and I had a discussion with them, and I said, listen, I've screwed you up, okay? When you guys are suffering emotionally and physically, just know that it was me and your mother that did it to you. But it's up to you to get out of it. You know what? I'm giving you a better chance right now. And because I'm working on myself so much, if you want to come to me, come to me. But then we know that people like to learn on their own, so there's going to be pain and suffering. But the reality is I need to apologize to my children, but I need to also tell them that, guess what? My father did this, my mother did this, and their mother and father did this, and I want to stop it. I want to stop the family curse. So when we go to push the button on each other, we're pushing the love button. We're not pushing the hate button. We're not pushing the button that it's like, oh, it's 3:15 and usually I have a fit around 3:15. Boom, I come in, I'm upset and I'm miserable because of my day. And then my wife says something and I just take it wrong and then I push her button and there we go. We're programmed. Do you know how to change your program? Because I'm going to tell you something, beliefs must be fed and you better choose wisely. And you better get in there and do your work, because I'm going to tell you this. Whatever you feed someday might feed on you. And if it's a dysfunctional belief, it's going to take you down. How many people just start off with one drink, then it's a few drinks? How many people start off with one toke, and now it's a few tokes a day? How many people are suppressing themselves? You know, the medical system, whether you believe this or not, it goes out to all doctors that, you know, that to keep and maintain everybody well, every 10 years that you're alive, a person should have another prescription. So if you're 30 years old, you should have 3. If you're 60, you should have 6. So this is the world that we live in. And this is why we're here. And I showed this yesterday. Look at this. beautiful people that didn't believe that they were beautiful people. So they decided they needed to become something else. And you know what? Do you ever say that to someone? Okay? You're not yourself? Well, that's right. Because if you get too toxic, okay, fungus moves in, parasites move in, bad bacteria moves in, and that is a new entity. You become something else. You get taken over. So understand something. The real terrorist lives in the mind. So we've got to get that and understand this. They've programmed you and now they're ready to harvest you. Now, there's the only religion alive, and it's not a religion. The Spirit of God lives in indigenous people. You know what? Even rocks grow. Everything has a spirit. And that is why, okay, and this is why the church, okay, the church wanted to destroy indigenous cultures all around the world with the help of the government. Because actually the government works for the church and the church works for the elite. So let's just get ourselves right back on the street here of truth. So whether you want to believe this or not, almost all of these children were murdered. And this happened in Canada. Okay? 50,000 Canadian children murdered. Because they were what? Indigenous. Mass grave identified near former Catholic Indian residential school in Alberta. This is still going on today, you know. So let's get our heads out of the sand and understand something. Who's going to protect the children? And what about our children? What kind of life are they going to have? Okay? What are they going to have right now? Let me ask you a question. Are you going to be able to look the children in the eyes and say that you protected their way of being, their way of life, what they should have, their inheritance? Understand something, everyone. You got to get this. There's 4 belief patterns here. You have no belief, you have no faith. Boy, that's not good. Or the second one, you've got belief and no faith. And you know what? I've got people that come to me and they don't have faith anymore. Because why? And because sometimes you got to lose faith because your faith wasn't built on faith. Most religion isn't built on true faith. Listen. That which created the universe is always with us. So if you've got belief and no faith, I've seen people with belief and no faith actually cure themselves from cancer. I've seen number 3, where people have faith but no belief and not cure themselves. Well, if God wills it, then it'll be done. If Jesus wants it, and listen, I was raised a Christian, so don't think I'm putting anything down. But the reality is it's teamwork that makes the dream work. And you know what? You have the power inside of you. You can't sit on the couch. You can't be a couch potato. You gotta take massive personal action. You gotta learn it's self-care, self-love, and you gotta totally let yourself off the hook for everything you've ever done that you think you've done. Let me tell you something right now. When I was a young kid, my parents promised me things, didn't give me things, so then I'd steal the milk jugs. Then I'd go and I started stealing from the stores. I stole money from my mother's purse, okay? Then I sold marijuana when I was younger. I did all kinds of stuff, you know what I mean? But I felt I needed to do it to survive because it was all about survival. It wasn't about thrival because nobody taught me that I was a beautiful spirit. My spirit was ripped from me when I was 8 years old. If I told you the things I did, you'd probably say, wow, we're actually listening to him? But that's what made me. That's what made me what I am today, because I rose up from it. It's not important what I did. It's important what I am. It's important what I want to become. And I'm not going to let your beliefs or anybody else's beliefs or the system's beliefs ever get in my way. Ever. And I am going to show anybody that comes to me that they're beautiful. And no matter what they did, it's all part of the adventure so that they can rise and grow. Because we can only grow consciously, and you can't grow consciously unless you're willing to make mistakes and be a bloody sinner. So yeah, I'm a sinner. I'm a failure. And I had to be many times to become what I am right now. So it's teamwork that makes the healing work. You must have faith of something greater. and you must have belief in yourself. And together, you have the power. You have the power to make the change. Let me tell you something. You are no failure. You are no sinner. Oh, but wait a minute. Yes, you are, if that's what you want to believe. And understand something. Everything that I'm great at, I failed 1,000,000 times. And guess what? As soon as I perfect it, I'm going to do something else. And that's the way my life is always going to be. Okay? So you got a choice. You can either learn or you can burn. And if you're still burning, it's because your beliefs are toxic and they're no good. And if you actually think that that which created the whole universe has ever even taken a second to judge you, I feel for you, because you're creating an invisible jail for yourself. And that's the bottom line. So understand something. If you don't want to awaken your brave heart, where's your roar? Where is it? Where is it? Reach down inside and find it, because I need you. I need you right now. Don't you see what's going on? I need you. Stop being scared. It's got to end right now. Okay? Never a victim, always a brave heart. Look it. What does it mean to be a brave heart? Well, B stands for boundaries, okay? Setting boundaries, okay? Lovingly setting boundaries. Oh, that means setting boundaries with your family too. Holding the loving line. No, I will self-love myself. I will self-care myself. Wow, this is really weird. You're actually taking time to do this? Oh, you know, there's a story, right? I like to tell. So Jenny says, yes, I want to get healthy. And her husband goes, good for you. Good for you. And then Jenny starts losing some weight. She starts losing those love handles, that little tire. She starts losing some of the water retention because the inflammation's coming down. She's actually changing some of her beliefs. And then all of a sudden, her husband, who hasn't done any growing, except physically, is getting scared. But it's not him, it's his subconscious. So then he orders pizza because he doesn't want to get left behind. And this is the thing, the family curse. Are you going to be able to rise above? Are you going to be able to rise above and become your authentic self and hold the line with your husband, your wife, your children, all your friends? Are you willing to lose some friends? Are you willing to lose some beliefs? Because if you lose beliefs, you got to lose some friends. Because if those friends don't lose those beliefs, then you're just going to go boom, boom, boom. But I've been friends for so long. But I've called her every week. But every time I do, and after I get off the phone, it takes me 2 days to come back to myself. Well, because you're running a self-abusive program. So are you willing to set boundaries? And then reliability. Okay, can you follow through? You need to decide what you want in your life. And then no matter who comes up against you, you need to follow through. And can you take massive action? Not have a reaction anymore. And can you be victorious? Because I'll tell you something right now. There is always something to celebrate. Okay? I'm celebrating every day right now, no matter what goes down, on how I'm holding the line. How I'm having the best day of my life every day. How I'm focusing on how to make my life better and my family's life better. How I'm focusing on how I'm going to create a foundation to get out to the whole world in this brave new world. And are you enthusiastic? Check in with yourself. If you have to, set your phone for every 5 minutes and find out if you're connected to your breath in the present moment and if you're enthusiastic about your life. Because I'm telling you right now, everything is just about programming, everybody. It's not about anything else. So there's the brave, the honest. Are you honest to yourself? Can you be honest to yourself? First and foremost. And can you follow through? And energy, okay? Your greatest asset. The amount of energy you have is going to depend on your beliefs, because your beliefs are going to decide what you're going to do, what you're going to eat, what you're going to drink, what you're going to think, what you're doing in your spare time. It all comes down to that. Your attitude, okay? Is it immersed in gratitude? I'm so grateful for everything. I'm grateful for when they go, Darrell, you owe $3,000 more taxes, whatever. You know, I'm grateful for when I go and I don't punch myself in the face and get angry and go, well, I guess that's the price I got to pay to ride this ticket on this planet. Repetition is the master of the mind. It's the master of everything. Whatever you want, if you're willing to just, hey, listen, Darrell, you're being insane about this self-love thing. Well, I'd rather be insane about self-love than self-hate. Thank you very much. So I don't really care if you, the majority, don't believe in me. That's okay. Because guess what? I don't want to be the majority that's 92% of the population has autoimmune disease, which means attacking oneself. Thank you very much. I think I'll opt out of that one. So trust. Well, that would be the Braveheart Warrior, because you can trust in me. Because I'm going to tell you something. People say to me, why do you do what you do? Why are you the way you are? Well, because I was created by God Almighty, and I realize that. And I realize that I'm a piece of God. And the other thing is this. I want to see if I can have total integrity, keep my morality, and if I can totally, when I come to that last breath on this planet, go, yeah, I played the game and I won. That's all. That's all it is. I'm going to win this game. I want you to win this game. It's just a game. And you can go, this isn't just a game. He doesn't understand what my life is like. Yeah, I do. I was there. And that's not truly what your life is like. That's the beliefs that you have right now that aren't yours, because you're not your authentic self. Check out my 12 loving steps, all right? Just go to my library, Doc of Detox library. Watch them, read them. And if you think you can get through that, then why don't you try the whole Braveheart course for free? And then, like I said, I'll be coming out with I Am Woman. And please, I do have an I Am Woman guide in there, but I'm coming out with the masterclass. And when I do, I'm going to blow this whole woman thing up and show you that women are going to save the world. And if they don't save the world, you might as well kiss the world goodbye. Kiss its ass goodbye, because it's already on its way out. Because mankind is not kind. Man is a manipulator. And men, we have a lot of work to do. Okay? And we need to apologize to the women on this planet. What's more important, guys? What you feed your body or what you feed your mind? I think you know the answer by now. Okay, so where the mind goes, the body always follows. So every time that you start creating any pain and suffering for yourself, you didn't mind your own business, which was your beliefs. Image creates thought. It's just a movie. Okay, are you the hero of this movie? Okay, or are you the terrorist? You need to think about that right now. Are you the terrorist of your life, and are you the terrorist of your children? Because most adults terrorize their children. They know better, right? Meanwhile, our children were sent here by God Almighty to remind us of our spirit, which we never really do wake up to, do we? Because we think we're so highly intelligent when we're the adulterated ones, and they're the geniuses bringing in the genius mind. So understand, image creates thought, thought creates emotion, emotion creates feelings, those feelings create a frequency, and the frequency triggers those chemicals and hormones that are either going to heal you and feel you beautiful, or they're going to destroy you. So 95% of all your energy is generated by your emotions. Energy is your most valuable asset. How much do you have right now? I'll tell you how much I've got right now. I got tons of it. I'm so passionate about what I do, and I love what I do. And once you realize that, guess what? It's the most important thing that you know it's okay to love and care for yourself. And once you do, you never go back. You never have a heart attack or a fart attack. Because guess what? You never react. You just take positive action. And you allow yourself to let everybody rant and rave about how that's selfish. Oh my God, Darrell, you're so selfish. Yes, I am. I'm going to be selfish enough to know what my needs are so that I can fulfill my needs and become that light for my family and for my patients and clients that come here, because I need to unleash them. And guess what? Yeah, but you're a little bit of a drama queen, Darrell. Yeah, well, I need to be, because I have to dramatize and I have to become bigger than life, because when they go out there, they're being programmed the minute they leave. So I want them to never forget me. So never forget what you are. You're not a skeletal body. You're not a muscular body. That's your earth suit. You're an electromagnetic body. You're a galactic traveler. Did you get that? You're a galactic traveler. All right. Welcome to the game, everybody. So listen, could consciousness all come down to the way we vibrate? I'd say so, wouldn't you? We talked about this yesterday. Who's really in charge? 90% of your brain is your subconscious. All it is a big filing cabinet, stores beliefs, and they're just prominent beliefs. So if you've got a crappy day going on today, you got crappy beliefs. But when are you going to sit down and do some homework? 99.9999999% of the population do not work out their brain. They do not work out their mind, and they do not work out the dysfunctional beliefs inside of them. So they're always living the same old damn Groundhog Day life. But that can change because you have the power. So mind your own business. Okay, get rid of those toxic thoughts. And listen, you can either be afraid or be awake. And guess what? You'll never know you were asleep until you're awake. So when people go, oh, yeah, I know what a good bowel movement is. I know what love is. And I know what a good diet is. And I know what a good day is. Well, you do compared to the rest of your family, which could be the family curse or the blessing. I'm not really sure. But in most cases, it is the curse. So for healing to become permanent, it must take place first in the mind. You know that. Our thoughts are powerful enough to bring things into existence. You know that. The placebo effect is scientific proof of this. The sugar pill guys. Come on. Come on. So, the conscious mind is your connection to source. Now, but then the average person, not average, the majority, is in the present moment, in their conscious mind, 2% a day. And as much as only 5% a day. So 2% to 5% a day, you're connected to source. So what is your real source? The system. And it's a sewage system. Okay? All right. So understand this. Destruction and disease, okay, is the subconscious mind. Unless you've gone in, all right, and you have dipped every prominent belief in total love and replaced it. So how does this go? So anyways, so you look at your life. Once you look at your life, you got your beliefs. You know what your beliefs are like. So now you got your life, you got your beliefs. So now you know what you need to do. You need to take those fast-moving freeways that are your most prominent beliefs and make them into a cow path. And then take that cow path of self-care and self-love and make it into the fastest moving freeway in your mind. And then guess what? That's it. That's it. And guess what? It takes time. It takes 9 months just to start to birth the new you, to see the crown of the head. And within 2 years, and you're going, 2 years? Look, I want to be logical here. But the reality is, if you started doing like love band work, mirror work, breathing work, if you did my 12 loving steps and you actually put your heart into it, you did couples connection or personal connection in the mirror. But you're not going to do that because nobody does it. And your mind is going to say, oh, that's so embarrassing. That's so stupid. So never forget this. The subconscious is 10,000 times more powerful than the conscious mind. So unless you want to repeat some of these new things that your mind's going to say are silly, then guess what? You're going to live in hell. And understand, people are going, my life's not hell. It's not great. Well, that would be hell. There's only love and there's hate. Everything falls underneath. So you're either having harmony and bliss and excitement all day long, and you're going, nobody lives like that. And I'll go, yes, I do. Yes, I do live like that. I'm so excited to be here. I understand what I am. And I understand my potential, which is unlimited. So understand, your life is a blueprint of your subconscious beliefs. End of story. Okay? You got to get this. Thoughts shape biology. Thoughts shape your personality. Okay? So rich mind, rich life. You can come from a family that they had this belief that money's easy to make, but their relationships suck. And that's what you're going to have unless you change it. Or you're going to come from a family where they come from lack and they talk about poverty and they talk about bills all the time. So a poor mind is going to have a poor life. I came from a poor family. You can ask my brother, Dr. Marcel Wolfe, and he'll tell you that. My father You know, he was a born-again Christian pastor, and he believed that poverty was the way to the Lord, you know, and that we'll all get what we need to get when we get there, and everything else was dirty. And so I had to throw that one off, try to do that. My mother would come home and he'd look at the grocery bill and he'd count it. My God, well, because guess why? Because you can't trust a woman, and that's the way men are taught. Can't trust women. That's right. Can't trust women. So we have to learn to erase and replace, okay? We've got to do that. Your subconscious empowering beliefs, they're either empowering or they're disempowering. You know what? If you don't want to study, research, and become that, you'll never have that. You know, you're either living by design or you're living by default. Well, sometimes things go okay and sometimes they don't. You know, well, that's the way it's going to be if you're not the designer, not the architect of your brain. So if you want to be a Braveheart Olympian, then you need to know that repetition is the key. And this is why I just mentioned it, Groundhog Day. You know what? I don't know why my life's not going right for me. I just don't really get it. Look at, like I just said, some people are going to make lots of money and have terrible relationships. Some people are going to have great relationships and not make any money. Some people are going to be able to give love but not accept it. Some people are going to be able to accept love but not give it. And guess what? I want it all. And I'm going to have it all because I'm allowed to have it all. Oh, wait a minute. If you're just going to leave it there on the table, you don't mind if I take it, do you? Oh, you won't even notice because you don't even want it. Oh, but the reality is I didn't take anything from you. There's that lack thing again because there's enough for everybody. Enough water, enough air, enough sunshine, enough food, enough money. Our beliefs are what are caused us today with this whole corona thing. Okay? The whole thing. It's called the domino effect of disease. And that disease has been our beliefs. And yes, I know it's not your fault. We were programmed. But the reality is now we know. We're enlightened beings now. We know we've been programmed. We know they program us all the time. So understand something. At the bottom of the pyramid is your emotions. So get those in order first. Once you get those emotions in order, then you know what? Then you've got to practice. What do you got to practice? The law of attention. Keep your focus on what you want. Don't let anybody sway you. Your family's going to try. Oh, you know what? Your family's bloody well evil, aren't they? No, they're not. Their subconscious is not evil either. But their subconscious is, okay, when I talk, everybody I talk to, whether you want to believe this or not, I know I'm not talking to their spirit. I know that I'm not talking to their soul. I know that I'm talking to their subconscious. So when I'm talking to their subconscious, to have them want to argue or have them want to debate or have them not like me or have them whatever, I'm okay. I got it. I know it. I'm not talking to their heart. If I was talking to their heart, we'd show compassion for each other. We'd be brothers and sisters. The whole world would be a family. We wouldn't pretend there's not enough food or enough water or enough health care. Well, we wouldn't pretend that what we call health care today is health care, for God's sakes. So whatever you want, you got to focus on it. So that's the law of attention. Don't break it for anything. So once you're peaceful and you're calm and you make a decision, no matter what goes on around you and how many people are coming at you, you do not break focus. And then you repeat that because the law of repetition is everything. Everything. And then you get the law of attraction. And understand something. I know, no matter how long it takes for my next wish, my next desire, it will be fulfilled. I will be patient. Because I believe in God Almighty, and I know that I have never, ever been judged to the point to not being able to have something. I can have it all, but it will come at its right time. It'll come at its right time. How many times do we believe that we know we need it now or we got to have it now and we find out there's a better way? And if it would have came now, we would have wasted it. My God, there's so much more to you than you know. There's so much more. I hope you find it. I'm starting to. I'm starting to find it. And that's why I want to share it. Do I know it? No, I don't know it. Okay? Could I be totally wrong? Well, maybe, but the reality is that I'm having a lot of fun here. I'm having fun right now. I'm having fun doing what I'm doing, talking to you right now, sharing with you right now. So that's the deal. How much fun are you having? Have you lost fun? Do you get up in the morning and want to do a cartwheel? Do you feel like when you get home you want to do a cartwheel? This is what we're after. So understand something. Your COO is your conscious mind. It looks after new thoughts. It's the present moment. That's where it all happens. That's where your power is. That's why the media, that's why the government doesn't want you sitting there in the present moment, because you could change the world if you did that. The editor is your subconscious, and that's what they want you in. And guess what? It doesn't allow any prominent, it only works prominent thoughts. It hates new thoughts. It doesn't matter if the new thought's going to save your life or save your marriage or save your child. It's going to try to stop it. Because anything you get excited about, it gets worried. Haven't you looked at people? I worry about everything. I worry when my kids go out. I worry when they come home. I worry when they're late. We're perpetuating the fear. We are the disease. And understand something, the editor hates the present moment and the future. And then all of that, when you repeat it enough, it goes and fuses into every cell and every bacteria in your body, and you become a walking, talking dis-ease or walking, talking at ease. So your autopilot, which is your body, is the unconscious mind. And guess what? It learns through experience. And then you start doing things, not even thinking about them anymore, because guess what? Somebody started a rumor, and then the story kept perpetuating long enough and strong enough. It became a belief, became a habit, became a ritual. And now you're living the family blessing or the family curse. I love my mother and father, and I'm going to get rid of all their toxic beliefs because they would want me to. They would want me to. It's the same thing as when somebody passes on, whether it's your husband and wife. They would want you to get your life together, to be happy every moment of the day. We are taught, listen to me, when I was a child, I remember even my father saying that it was disrespectful for any woman or man to stop grieving within 12 months minimum if someone died, if a partner died. That by that time, that person now has heart disease or cancer or an autoimmune disease. My father was teaching disease. I know I probably stirred up some stuff in people. But just look at it this way. At least you don't have to live with me. Boom. Okay. Healthy mind equals a healthy body. Sick mind, sick body. You're all running programs. Some of you run programs that you're going to create pain all day long. Some of you are going to go, it's 3:15, it's time to punch myself in the face. Some people are going, it's 3:15, it's time to punch my kid in the face. Emotionally or physically. You think I'm kidding? We don't want to talk about that, do we? If you just knew how much physical abuse is in families, it's terrible. And that's because the person that gives the physical abuse got the physical abuse. And the person that's going to get it now is going to give it then and continually keep the family curse going. So we all run pain body programs, and we trigger each other's pain body programs until we mind our own business. So understand something. The subconscious is either your friend or your enemy. And for most, it's called a frenemy until you master it. Pain is your GPS. And that GPS is going to release what? The dose, which is dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. Or if it's based on hate, it's going to be histamine, adrenaline, and cortisol. And then, you're trying to hack something up because you can't swallow it. Nobody can swallow hate. But we do it because we're programmed to. So remember, all negative thinking shuts down the immune system. And understand something. Stress hormones are given to transplant patients so that they don't reject the organ. So what you're doing is all these stress hormones that you're releasing into your body, okay, are shutting you down. And when they shut you down, okay, then you never heal. Now, how many people right now are at home, right now, or even on here, and they're stressed out? The more you stress out, the sicker you're going to get. Wait till you see the fallout from this whole coronavirus thing. And then the 5G rollout, wow. Let me tell you something. You practitioners, if you're not out there training people how to look after themselves, that is the problem. So understand something. Your brain is the chemist. Your blood is the culture medium, everyone. Okay? So remember something. You're either in a parasympathetic state, which is healing and restoring, or in a sympathetic state. And we already know this, that we're only in a parasympathetic state 2 to 5% a day unless you learned how to master your own mind. Okay? And there's a parasympathetic nervous system. Doesn't that look good? Wouldn't you guys like some of that right now? Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? Being at peace. And you can trigger that with yourself anytime. 3, 2, 1, I got this. 3, 2, 1, that's the new me. 3, 2, 1, there's a new sheriff in town called self-love, self-care. And I'm going to give that to my partner and my children and everybody else that I can touch. But no, relationships are one of the biggest problems that we have today. And the relationships we have problems with certain people is because our beliefs don't match theirs. But the problem is we will never have a relationship problem with anyone when our beliefs match total self-love and total care. And I will go toe-to-toe with anybody. Any psychologist, any psychiatrist, anybody out there on that one. Okay? So you're either taking positive action because you've got positive, beautiful, you're totally have all your beliefs dipped in self-love, self-care, or you're having a reaction all the time. You never notice something? It's like this. Think about the people in your life that you've been with the longest. Now think about the arguments you have. Are you tired of having the same argument with them? Look, it's not your job to detoxify toxic people. It's your job to detoxify the parts of you that resonate with their toxicity. Did you get that? Oh my gosh, it's so important. So ask yourself this. How much have you made the rest of the world and your family responsible for filling your little heart? I'll be happy when I get the girl, I buy the car, I have the baby, I sell the house, when the kids grow up, when the kids move out, when I get grandchildren, when I retire. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? I think we should be. So there is nothing in this world that can trouble your mind than toxic thoughts. And don't ever end your life. Because it starts in your mind, but it just spills over to your whole life. All right. So don't forget, your brain is hungry. It never sleeps, even when you do. So unless you're going to reprogram it. So everybody out there, you have trouble sleeping? Well, guess what? That's because you have a monkey mind. That's because nobody told you that those beliefs that don't allow you to sleep are toxic and that you don't have to keep them. But if you're not going to go in there like a computer and erase them and replace them, then you're going to be like a computer and run the same bloody program that's contaminated and conflicted. It's like you've got a virus. That virus in your brain is toxic beliefs. Okay? We talked about this already. Imagination. Get it back and use it. Very important, everyone. Get it back and use it. Let's talk about this. Okay? Let me back up just one little bit. So, emotional block. Okay, so what is an emotional block, everyone? Well, it's a belief that is not in harmony with your spirit. Now, that emotional block that's in your head, okay, you see the way that gentleman's holding his head? We've all been there. Some people are there all day long, but they're not holding their head. And that's because that dysfunctional belief is the most prominent belief they have right now. Now, as long as that continues, remember, you're dumping these hormones into your body and chemicals that are not good for you. Because remember something. Here's the deal. First of all, 4 corporations own 96% to 92 to 96%. I've heard 2 different figures of the media. Now, the media has understood that as long as they keep you in a fear mode, okay, you are going to, because the media is actually owned by the corporations that sell the toxic products that you're going to have to take. This is where I'm getting at. So now, the media, which they own, are going to keep your fear thing going, so you dump the acidity into your body continually. Now, here's the problem. When there were dinosaurs and tigers, and when there were reasons that we should run physically, When you would do that, the adrenaline, the cortisol, and the histamine would burn off. Did you know that? They would burn off about 90%, 95%. So there wasn't enough destruction. Now, everybody sits now and watches things. So every time that you get triggered and stressed, you're not moving. And when you're not moving, that acid is eating away your tissues. So this is why they keep on programming. They keep pushing the button. Remember what I said? Okay. So now what happens? That acidity, okay, creates crystallization. It causes scar tissue formation. It pulls the calcium from your bones to try to buffer down the acid to create your proper blood pH and to help to stop mutation of cells so you don't have cancer. So what happens is your energy system is going to be depleted. Take a look at the middle picture. Energy block. There's no energy. This person is not going to heal from their disorder. Now, what are they going to do if they don't know that it's a belief that's caused it? They've got to take drugs to numb themselves out because they just can't take it anymore. I mean, if I had to be in pain all the time, I would commit suicide. We all would. Okay? Suicide is what happens to people that have beliefs that are so toxic, okay, that they think there's no way out. And then that's the only way out. And God bless them. Okay? God bless them. Because whether you want to believe this or not, I can't say that I've never really planned to kill myself, but I'm sure there was a time in my life because I know that everybody was there once upon a time and they thought there was no way out. And some people think about suicide a lot, even right now. And I bet you when the suicide rates come out after this whole coronavirus thing, they've gone way up. So now what happens is crystallization, the scar tissue formation, the calcification causes a physical block in the body. So psychological must come before the physical health. And guess what? Practitioners, we can be accused because we don't do that. We don't promote that enough. And you know why? Because if we did, we would not have the business, so we wouldn't be able to pay our bills. But this is the way the program's set up. So we can come at you with the physical first, then we got to get your trust, and then we got to kind of just trickle in there with the emotional, because if we go in with the emotional really strong at the beginning, your subconscious is going to push back and go, oh my God, that scares the living crap out of me. He can touch my leg. He can touch my arm. He can work on my physical body. He can even detoxify the physical body. But don't you dare come near the subconscious, because when you detoxify the emotional body, you're going after the subconscious, and the subconscious hates anything new and it hates change. So even if your beliefs are killing you or they're causing the pain you have, let me tell you something. If a person's been has a cane for 9 months, that cane is their friend. If they have a walker for 9 months, it's their friend. If they have a wheelchair for 9 months, it's their friend. If they're in bed for 9 months, it's their friend. It's a frenemy. It's a program. We're programmed to do these things. So let's get this. To have no pain, okay, to have no pain in the body, okay, means you have no blockages. So think about that. So that would be no blockages on a mental level, which then you would have no blockages on a physical level. So we can go in and get rid of the blockages on a physical level, but that doesn't mean they're not going to come back, because there's a good chance they're going to come back because we all run programs. Mind games and pain body programs. So we have issues in our tissues, and we're an inflammation nation, and we have so many more diseases and new diseases coming out, but we've got to forget that. We've got to stay to the basic things of life. We have to. So let's talk about this. So if you don't look after your emotions, right, and you are an emotional eater, then what you put into your body is going to reflect into your body, isn't it? So low vibrational toxic foods are going to create a low vibrational toxic body. I'm going to try to keep it simple. So the mother of all organs is your large intestine. The large intestine houses your good bacteria. It's called the second brain. So understand this. Life and death begin in the colon. If you took a look at it, most practitioners don't focus enough on the large intestine. And we know about the gut-brain connection. There's talks about it all the time. So you need to focus there. If you look at the average person, their tummy is sticking out or down, isn't it? For every 10 pounds you're overweight, that's 10 pounds of inflammation and toxicity. So it's not what comes out on an emotional and physical level, it's what stays in that can be your downfall. So let's take a look at it. A balloon sigmoid. Most people have this. It's called constipation, but most people say, I'm not constipated. But almost everybody I talk to has a bowel problem. Because guess what? Unless you had a bowel problem, how would you absorb any waste into your bloodstream, which would then go into your pelvis or go into any of the joints in the body to create the inflammation throughout the rest of the body? So why would you get diverticuli? Well, because the waste is sitting in you for so long and building up that the bad bacteria are eating away at the lining of your large intestine. So now you're getting these pockets. What about spasm? Well, because you've had waste sitting at the bottom part of your large intestine for so long, the bacteria are eating away at the lining. So everything, did you ever go into contracture when you're in pain? Well, that's what this does. And after a while, do you see what happens? It becomes a little thin piece of beef jerky. And then you've got colitis. So you've got a thinning on one side and it won't allow the poop to come through. And colitis just means inflammation of the colon. Then you've got arthritis. And then you've got sinusitis. And I could keep going on with all the itises, but they're not diseases. They're just symptoms of inflammation. You've got strictures in the bowel. And then here's the main one, prolapse. How many people, their intestines are falling down and out? And then they're sitting where? On top of their pelvis. So look at this. Then you get hemorrhoids. How many people have hemorrhoids? Well, we know that hemorrhoids is a blood disease. And because guess what? You're trying to grunt and groan and get that nugget out. And it always seems like there's just a little bit more that can come out. Well, think about this over 10 to 20 years. You're reabsorbing your waste. And understand, you see where the hemorrhoids are? Well, that last 6 inches of the large intestine, right? What sits in front of it? Your bladder, your prostate, your uterus, your fallopian tubes, your ovaries. So understand something. It's very important that we keep all of this moving. Okay, so a rectal prolapse. So if you take a look at things, you can see the rest of the organs are sitting out front, right out front of the last part of the colon. All right? Take a look at a fistula. A fistula is actually what? A fistula is a hole. And that hole can actually allow waste to go right into the vagina, waste to go into the abdomen, or waste to go into the whole body itself and into the bloodstream. The large intestine really needs to be looked at, like anal fissure. An anal fissure is a crack because there's so many chemicals and waste coming off the waste that's sitting inside of you. And SIBO, all right, small intestine bacterial overgrowth. Well, what do you think that's from? Well, I'm telling you right now, yes, it is from what you eat, but it's mainly from what you back up from your large intestine. The ileocecal valve, right, allows the waste to back up, and then the bacteria get into your small intestine. Then you've got real big troubles. I want to show you something, everybody. And I'm going to tell you something. You see here, your spine is the telephone pole that carries up information from your pelvis. So what happens is we have the large intestine here, everybody, and understand, you see what the pelvis is? This pelvis is called the soup bowl. This is where everything goes in and decides, is this a beautiful, healthy soup that we're going to feed the body? Or is this a toxic soup that we're going to feed the body? Now, in most cases, understand something. How could you ever have an ovarian problem, a fallopian tube problem with scar tissue? How could you have cysts on your ovaries? How could you have a bladder infection? How could you have an inflamed prostate? Okay. How could you have pelvis inflammation? Okay. How could you have a period problem unless you were actually absorbing toxic waste from your large intestine? And because of gravity, it goes into the pelvic region. So it goes into the pelvic region. And remember something, your pelvis is your root chakra. Whether you want to believe in root chakra or not, or that is the root area where you pick up all the communication and information that goes up your spine to feed your brain, you better get this, okay? Because the more toxicity that goes into that soup bowl, the more contamination and the more inflammation that is going to go up and it's going to go into your brain. But it's not going to just do that. It's going to bring down your energy level. It's going to mess up all your hormones. And people don't think about this. I'm going to tell you something. I can work on any man or woman listening right now, and I can go in there, and if I put a mic by your pelvis, you're going to hear snap, crackle, pop. And that's all the crystallization and scar tissue formation and displaced calcium in your pelvis. And that is the root cause of all other illness in the human body, even breast cancer. And I'm going to prove that. And people don't want to believe it. Now, I know there's other circumstances like root canals for breast cancer, but I'm telling you root cause right now. Okay? So it's all about root cause. So if you take a look here, uterus, bladder, pubic bone, urethra, vagina, rectum, they're all in this tight community. And it all depends on the tone of your colon and how much you back up waste. And if you're the type of person that says, oh, just a little bit more could have come out, and you do that all the time, look, let me tell you something. I have 2 to 3 really great bowel movements every day. I did an 8-day cleanse, and I had great bowel movements all the way through my 8-day cleanse. Really great detox. So let's take a look at men. Bladder, pubic bone, prostate. Okay, so now you want to know something? Prostate problems have went up 40% in the last 5 years. And that's because men don't stop eating and mistreating themselves. And because most men are constipated. Take a look at most men. You know, you could walk down to the mall and see 3 guys standing outside the mall talking to each other, rubbing their tummies, and they look from anywhere from 2 months pregnant to 6 months pregnant, and they're all rubbing their tummies, not for a wish, but because they don't even know it, but psychologically they're trying to calm their tummies down because their good bacteria is turning to bad bacteria. If we were to actually take control of our large intestine, well, we'd have to take control of what we put in our mouth too. Wait a minute, first would be our mind, then our mouth. But if you knew what was in your mind, you would be making better decisions for your mouth, wouldn't you? And then if you made sure that your large intestine, which is 85% of your immune system, right, was healthy, then you'd be wealthy on all levels. And that's the bottom line. So understand something. Almost all plagues and epidemics were caused by unsanitary conditions. You know, like the medical system likes to take the credit, but it was really the plumber. It was the plumber that actually stopped most of the pandemics and epidemics because it was just all about sewage. So let's get that. So you've got to learn, okay? You've got to learn to look after your large intestine. Let me tell you something. Practitioners are going to sell you this. You know what? If you don't know how to tone and cleanse your large intestine and to clean your liver, which is your filter, those 2 things first. If you want to do all the others, go right ahead. It's not going to last. It's not going to last. I'm telling you that right now. So understand something. You can go to the chiropractor and go get your spine adjusted. Go ahead. Go get a massage. Go ahead. Go get acupuncture. Why don't you go do that? Go do it. Oh, go to the physiotherapist. Yeah, go do that. Or go do yoga. But until you learn that when you back up in your bowel, you back up your everything else, and especially your low back. That's why you got hip problems. Well, come on, guys. Soup bowl. Waste goes in there. So now, we're going to have endometriosis, okay? We're going to have fibroids, okay? We're going to have cysts, okay? We're going to have inflammation. We're going to have pain. But guess what? I'm going to tell you something. Nobody's ever told you this. 95% of all hip problems and people have to have hip surgery, it's all because of constipation. The waste went down into the soup bowl, and then the waste goes out and it inflames. Yes, you could have a car accident. You could have a sports injury, but that's such a small percentage. Everybody's going and getting their hips replaced and their knee replaced because they're pooping into their body. End of story. Okay? They're pooping into their body. And if we didn't do that, well, I'm going to be going through it all. And you'll see that I've got a point and I'm right. Okay, so here it is. I mean, in a society that would be awake, do you actually think that this would happen? In a society that wasn't programmed by corporations and dumbed down, you know what? You can actually get and see practitioners in the health business, natural health business, in this shape. And people will walk in and they'll sit down and they'll just sit there and they won't even recognize it anymore. Because guess what? The majority of the population, okay, we know that 80% of the population is overweight. We know that 40% of the population is obese. We know that 1 out of every 3 children are obese for their age and their weight. But guess what? It's all just so normal. We don't even look at that anymore. We're so dumbed down It's not a really good situation. And understand something. These love handles and spare tires, all this is, we have to build fat in the body because the body needs to make fat cells to store the toxic beliefs that create the inflammation in our body. So the inflammation is stored in fat until we change. So understand something. When you stop an inflammatory diet, when you stop inflammatory thoughts and you know how to cleanse properly on an emotional and physical level, then you're going to be a lean, keen, sexy machine. And that's the important thing because that means your health is back. That means your wealth is back. But no, let me tell you something. You can walk around with terrible breath. I mean, when's the last time, you were laying in bed, you woke up, you rolled over and you said to your wife, honey, can I give you a kiss? And she, whoa, go brush your teeth, please. Somebody pooped in your mouth. Understand something. When you've got bad breath, that's the hot air that rises off your private manure pile down in your tummy. That's all that gas. Do you ever see a hot air balloon? Well, the only reason why it floats up in the air is because of hot air and gas. And you know why people have gum disease? Because they have bum disease. You fix your colon, you don't have gum disease. And you might have to do some work on here if you've gone too long. But the reality is that smell in here, it smells like poop because it is. These are microscopic particles and hot air rises. Did you never ever put a fork into a manure pile? You're going to have it. So understand something. Your body is going to try to store the waste. So it's going to what? Dehydrate it. It's going to store it in fat. It's going to store it in tumors and pimples and cysts and boils. Are you with me yet? This is all part of it. You wouldn't need all that if you didn't have it. So it's either, guys, you're either going to cleanse or it depends. It's your choice. All right. And why do you think Costco has a whole aisle? Because they know that you've been programmed to put on your big boy diapers. That's why. So we are totally programmed. Think about what you think about and tell me if I'm wrong. Okay. So it's gentle daily cleanses versus deep cleansing. Why in the heck would you say, I'm going to cleanse once every 6 months? Why wouldn't you want to create the perfect day from the minute you wake up in the morning until you go to bed? Why wouldn't you want to create a system that is so gentle, so loving on yourself that you never have to do a deep cleanse again? Because when you go, most people go, I'm going to do a deep cleanse. Why? Because I feel so crappy. Okay, great. So then you do the deep cleanse and then you feel crappy all the way through it. But then when you come out of it, you feel tired, but you feel better. What if you were to do the perfect day? So please take a look at this. Take a look at my daily cleansing tea, black gold, tummy love, and fulvic acid if you want to really just start getting a handle on that. And if you did a little bit of these things every day, 95% of your problems you wouldn't have. And understand this, start tracking your bowel movements because your bowel movements are a computer printout. And understand something, do you even know what a good bowel movement is? People don't, okay? How many people do you poop with, right? So understand something, this is where we should be. We poop today because it's all about bacteria, dudes. We are 50 trillion cells, 500 trillion bacteria. We are walking, talking globs of bacteria. You love your bacteria. You are, on this planet, you are a bacterial physical body. That's what you are. So don't attack bacteria, love bacteria. Don't take antibiotics unless you're in a life-threatening situation or you're going to create a life-threatening situation. Because like I said, your stool is a printout of your health. Very important you get this. Okay, so now we know that low-grade inflammation, okay, will decrease our energy and our nutrients. All right? And then that decreases our immune system. And then we have autoimmune disease. What's autoimmune disease? Attacking oneself. Oh, wait, but you did that up here before you ever did that here. So you've got to get that, okay? First it's mental, then it's physical. First it's psychological. First it's invisible, and then it's visible. So we need to understand the golden rules. So toxic thoughts equal a toxic diet, ineffective treatment that leads to inflammation. Let me tell you something. I don't care what practitioner you go to. If a practitioner is not going in to reduce your inflammation down as close to zero as possible, he's not even working for you. He's not working for you at all. Then what you need to do get the inflammation underhand. Then you've got to go in, and how are you going to get rid of that beef jerky? How many people you know, hey, Grandpa, what's going on, man? You look like you're in pain, because he's walking like this. He can hardly move, right? And you're going, and he goes, no, I'm not in pain. Well, that's because all the scar tissue's wrapped around his nerves and wrapped around his joints. So now he's as stiff as a board. Is he having a good time? No. How would you like to be 95 years old or 101 years old and have the flexibility of a 30-year-old or a 25-year-old? I can give that to you. And I can teach you how to give that to everybody else. And understand, I'm going to give you a money-back guarantee that if my treatments, my therapy isn't just the best thing you've ever seen and the most powerful thing, because understand something, the tools you have, as long as you've got passion, and as long as you're going to hold the loving line for yourself and know that you are amazing, infinite creator, I will give you the tools to take it all the way. So if we can reduce the inflammation and then go in and start pulling the scar tissue apart, you need to understand something. It's all a scar tissue issue. It's beef jerky. So how are you going to get the blood supply back in? How are you going to get the lymph into that? By acupuncture? I have a doctorate in acupuncture. I'll be there forever trying to do that. By chiropractic? No, but it's great. Chiropractic's great. But the reality is, unless you get rid of the scar tissue that's in between the vertebrae, let me tell you, I said this yesterday, give me a person that is in so much trouble, and I will make them 2 inches taller in an hour. Minimum 1 inch taller, and that's because those discs that were gone aren't gone, and you didn't need to get that rod in your spine, or you didn't need to get the fake disc put in, you didn't need to get fused, you didn't need to get your hip replaced, you didn't need to get your knee replaced, you didn't need to have surgery on your frozen shoulder for the second and third time, because you need to learn how to master your mind, get rid of the scar tissue, bring back and get rid of the physical blocks. Understand, somebody with cancer has 20 to 30 physical blocks throughout their body, not counting the tumor. So why are we going just after the tumor? Why aren't we looking at the rest of the body to get rid of the physical blocks, to increase the circulation, to increase the vibration, to increase the frequency? There's the healing. So let's bring down the inflammation. Let's take, okay, here. That would be a normal muscle tissue. See the blood, the lymph, and the energy flow? It's going. Then what happens? We go into contraction, right? We're contracted all the time. And remember something, inflammation is a fire, and a fire dehydrates things. So now your tissues are getting dehydrated. So now they get dehydrated, and then they become a knot. Ooh, I have a knot in my neck. Oh, I've got a knot in my knee. I've got a knot in my hip. And then they tell you, oh, look it, we did an x-ray, and there's no tissue left in your knee. There's no tissue left in your hip. That's a lie. I haven't had one person that was supposed to go to hip surgery or knee surgery go in the last 5 years. And I know you think I'm kidding, but I'm not. I'm not kidding, because the body is amazing, and you have been taught to be unamazing. And even practitioners, they don't even think about this anymore. Well, that's all we can do. Well, if you're not going to go in there and do something like Wolfe non-surgical and doing some padding and some clapping, okay, and some other techniques I'm going to be showing you, it's not going to happen. And I'm not saying I'm the holy grail of all of this. I'm always learning. Everything I've learned from people that are smarter than me, and I know that. But the reality, I was smart enough to put it together. So understand something. Reasons why your body creates displaced calcium and inflammation and scar tissue? Well, because you're always in a sympathetic state. To wall off leaky gut, okay, to stop the pain and the inflammation from spreading, right? Okay, to stop the destruction of healthy tissue, because that's what's going to happen, and to stop the parasites from coming in and attacking. Because what do the elite do right now? They're attacking everybody that's weak in the mind. What happens in Africa when the gazelle that's old at the back gets attacked? So what happens when your tissues are weak? The parasites move in, the bad viruses. There's no such thing as bad viruses. You get the viruses. You get viruses. They're the waste product of a defective cell. But the bacteria moves in, the parasites move in, and they'll come to the weakened tissue because they like attracts like. Low vibrational tissue attracts parasites. That's why it doesn't matter how many parasite cleanses you do until you bring up your vibration. You got to change the environment so you can send these guys packing. So anyways, we use calcium, we use scar tissue to actually wall off an area. And then, well, what's a tumor? a tumor isn't all cancer cells, It's not. It's mainly scar tissue. And that's why you can actually take a tumor and lovingly start to pull that apart, especially if it's just a fibroid. If it's a fibroid, it's a piece of cake. It's a walk in the park. You can get somebody with a fibroid the size of a melon and pull that apart. Okay? I'm going to actually put a couple of videos up for you to see when I do Thursday's class and show you that I took a tumor and I half the size of it in 20 minutes. I'm going to show you where I took an arthritic joint that is about that big, and in 20 minutes I brought it down by 90%. So what are you going to do? You're going to take supplementation for that? You're going to do acupuncture? You're going to go chiropractic, physio? You're going to do massage? Are you kidding? Let's get in there and deal with the issue. That's what we need to do. So understand something. And the last thing is that the calcium in the scar tissue is used to deaden pain. Yeah, I don't feel pain anymore, but I don't play sports anymore. I don't have any energy anymore. My body's just all one big block. So understand something. As soon as we break we have a gut-brain disconnection, that's it. That's where we're headed for. And understand this, emotional blocks equals snowball effect. So you go from a pimple to a cyst to a boil to a fibroid to a tumor. Tell me I'm wrong. You can't tell me I'm wrong because I'm right. I'm right about this. And you can, and every one of these things, when it started from a scar tissue to a tumor, and the bigger the tumor, well, because you got to store the physical and the emotional toxicity into this tumor. Are you going to make a change here and here? Oh my God, we cut out the tumor, but we didn't cut out the belief. Why do you think Martha says, I'm a 3-time breast cancer survivor? Well, yeah, because you didn't go in and get rid of the belief that caused it in the first place. So understand this, the same fibrotic scar tissue found in a sports injury, post-surgery, or any scar tissue caused by physical or emotional imbalance is the same scar tissue that you would find in a tumor. And do you know how many cancer people I talk to that are medical doctors and they go, oh my God, I never thought of that before. Yeah, even though it's cancerous, yeah, the main thing is made out of scar tissue. And that, my friend, is the holy grail right there. So medical doctors, they're not trained to recognize scar tissue until it is a tumor or a fibroid. And they're not going to go in until it's big enough to cut it out. And they won't go in if it's too big. So it's like you're playing Russian roulette. We got it all. We cut the tumor out, but they didn't cut out the belief because there are no shortcuts. They're deep cuts. And understand something. When you get surgery, okay, whether or not you had a car accident, you had a sports injury, you need to know one thing. Your body loves you. Your body loves you so much that it is going to create scar tissue more than you need. And it's going to pull more calcium than you need, more crystallization to glue it all together than you need. And guess what? The worst one is surgery. That's why every time a woman goes and gets a cesarean, okay, or they get any work done in their pelvis, they have scar tissue that's wrapping around their intestines. They can't make love. They can't pee properly. They can't poop properly. They're in pain all the time. Every time that you get surgery, you must have a Wolfe non-surgical therapist go in and remove that scar tissue. It is so important. Look at the domino effect of a human. Irritation, inflammation, crystallization, scar tissue formation, calcification, mutation, radiation, and then amputation. Tell me I'm wrong. The average person has 9.2 surgeries in their lifetime. So everybody, I want you to think about what I've said, and then I'm going to be back here at 4 o'clock my time today, and we're going to do another 1-hour lecture, and I'm going to be going through the rest, and I'm going to prove to you that this is a scar tissue issue and that you have more power than you think. So I'm going to leave this with you. If you want to go to my website and take a look, go take a look at the Braveheart breath. 6 seconds in, 7 seconds out, so to keep you in the present moment. Go take a look at the mirror work. I want you to go and look in a mirror when we're done on break here, and I want you to look in that mirror, and I want you to say this. Say your name and go, Darrell, today I will love, totally love, honor, respect, and protect you from now on first and foremost before anything else or anyone else, so help me God, and do it with all your heart and all your soul, and understand something. You need to take this back, because that which created the universe totally loves you infinitely, and has never judged you. And I'm sorry if I come up against any of your religious beliefs and you believe that you need to be a sinner. But as long as you're a sinner, you will never be a winner. And that is it. So also, make sure if you ever want to get any, if you buy product or you want to order our love bands, it says Braveheart, and I will be going through it when I come back. I'm going to be going through this, but remember this, because this is to remind you, this is to snap you back into the present moment. And you might do it 30 times an hour. But guess what? You might as well be insanely happy instead of insanely miserable. And never forget this, to rise to your full potential, okay? You have to learn how to fly. And that means you've got to learn how to love yourself first and foremost. And if you do learn how to love yourself first and foremost, you will meet another partner that does that, and you will become not survivors, but you will become thrivers, and then you will travel light, live light, spread the light. You will become the light for the rest of your family. Everybody, thank you for joining me. And God bless, and have a beautiful afternoon. And I hope you enjoy all the other information coming towards you, because guess what? This is a gift. This is a gift to unlock your greatest gift, and that is the authentic self. God bless. So thanks for joining me. Don't forget, everyone, tomorrow, June 18th, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, join me for Survive or Thrive Part 2. Also, join me this Friday, June 19th at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for the live Survive or Thrive Q&A, where I will answer all your questions from Facebook, YouTube, and Intercom. So write your questions down below and let's grow together. When watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe below and make sure you click on the bell to enable notifications so that you never miss a show. And here's our upcoming shows. Monday, June 22nd, Doc Talk Q&A, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Wednesday, June 24th, Inflammation to Cancer, a scar tissue issue, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. All our shows and our Q&As are time-stamped so that you can find your question or your topic easily. Also, if you wish to listen to the audio version of any of our shows, you can find them on iTunes, Spotify, and SoundCloud. For anyone who wishes additional information or training, please stay to the end and you will be able to see where you can find all the links to that which you seek. Again, thank you to all my listeners who have made this show possible. God bless everyone. And listen, take your power back to heal, but better still, stop giving it away. And remember, when we all come together and stand united, 3, 2, 1, we got this. If you're looking for life-saving and life-changing information, well, you've come to the right place. Don't forget to click and subscribe. Stay connected.